Okay, so for modeling multiplication with decimals, it's going to look a lot like repeated addition. And when we multiply 3 times 4, we can get your product of 12 by doing 4 plus 4 plus 4. It's the same with decimal numbers. But to show our modeling and show our work in this way, let's do 3 times 1500ths first. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your first color, and I'm going to shade in 15 of these boxes. One column has 10 boxes in it, so I'm just going to color in one column and then half of the next. Some people, when they do this, need to count out 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Do you see how I made the dots here? Maybe I need a darker color. If you want to count it out and make little dots and then go back and color over your dots to help you, that's fine. 1500ths is pretty easy to pick out, but if you're doing like 21 4 times, then it gets to where it's a little bit harder to keep up with all the boxes. So I'm going to do one group of 15 in one color, and then I'm going to switch. I've got 5 left on this column, so I'm going to color these guys in, and one more row. I'm going to switch back to my first color and color a column. This is 10. And if you want to do the dots and counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a strategy that can help you. This is a pretty easy concept, but I will say the kids that make mistakes on these problems are the ones that count too fast and you color in the wrong number of boxes. So after I get done coloring in 3 groups of 1500ths, can you guys see what my product is there? Yeah. How many boxes in all are colored in? 45 hundredths. That's all we're doing on this. I can write it this way. I can write it this way. All 45 hundredths. You get it? So I'm going to show you one more before I have you practice on your own. Let's do the problem. Four times 1300ths. So on this model, how many groups am I going to have? 4 groups, because we're doing 1300ths 4 times. So I'm going to start with one color, and I can color in a column for 10, and 3 more. This is where some people will find it easier if they count the boxes and put dots, because when there's multiple groups of kind of an odd number, it's really easy to color in the wrong number. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 here. And I'm going to go back over and color them all in. And I'm going to switch back to my original color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now I can go back over all those. Now I've got one last group of 13 to make. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to color in my last group. If you're really good at adding up the different columns. You don't have to put the dots and count them. This is just a strategy for people that are having trouble keeping the squares straight. So after I've done this, I've colored in 4 groups of 13 hundredths. How many hundredths is that all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So that's 50. That's right. But then I have these extra 2 right here. So my answer on this problem, my solution is 52 hundredths. I can write it this way, or I can write it this way. All the same thing. Are you seeing it? Now the ones that get a wee bit confusing are the ones that have a product of larger than 1. In those cases, you're going to have to use 2 boxes, which you have left on your paper. So I want you to practice seeing one of those worked out with me. So when I fill up a whole square, that represents 1, 1. So I'm going to do this problem with a little bit larger numbers. And we're going to do 42 hundredths 3 times. So I'm going to start with one of my colors, and I'm going to color in 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you're doing the larger numbers, it's easier to color in bigger chunks of them because you can just count your columns of 10. I need 4 columns of 10 plus 2 more. Now I'm going to switch to my other color. There's 8 on this column left. So I'll color in 3 more columns to make 38. And I'm not quite there. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So I'm going to color in these last of the group right here. They kind of look like Tetris boxes if you color them in right. Now in my last group, because I'm making 3 groups of 42, I have 6 right here. So that extra column 16, add another 10, I've got 26, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Do you see how I've used 2 boxes to show this problem? This is because my answer is greater than 1. I'm going to make sure I have a 1 in the ones place because I have a whole box filled. I have 2 tenths here, and then I have 6 hundredths left here. So your answer is 1 and 26 hundredths if you've colored all the groups in correctly. If you start doing this and you come up with the wrong number of boxes and you're coloring in too many or not enough, start doing the dots and then go back over and check your dots. Give me a thumbs up if you're good with this. We have the models done. Y'all ready? You ready to see it the race car way now? Okay. So this is one way we have to see it, is modeling the multiplication of decimals. So flip over to another page. If I'm doing a problem like 56 hundredths times 8. Do you want to color in 56 boxes 8 times? No, neither do I. So I'm going to show you the standard algorithm for this as well. Some of you guys have been working a small group with me on this already. So we're going to just do the regular straight algorithm. Let's do 74 hundredths times 6. So when we multiply with decimals, it's a little bit different than what you've done before. When we added and subtracted, what was the thing we had to make sure we did with the decimal every single problem? Yes, ma'am? That was one thing. What was another thing, Lila?
To line it up.
To line up the dots. When you multiply with decimals, you do not do that. You're going to create a whole bunch of work for yourself that you really don't want to do, and you're going to have a mess of zeros at the end of it. So when we're multiplying with decimals, my rule of line up the dot is gone. We're going to throw it out the window. We do not line up the decimal. Doing that will make a whole lot of work that you do not want to do. So remember, we're just going to put these guys up against the wall just like we practiced before. Now, when I multiply with decimals, I'm going to look at the number of decimal place value spots I have here. How many digits are in decimal land on that number? 2, okay? I'm going to put a little 2 out to the side. And this is my little bunny that's going to hop at the very, very end. We're going to put our little bunny out to the side, and he's going to get to do 2 hops when I'm done doing my multiplying job. So after you put your little number out to the side to remind yourself what to do, you're just going to multiply like you've been doing. Nothing special. 6 times 4 is 24. 7 times 6 is 42 plus 2 is 44. And when I get my product at the end, the last thing I'm going to do is do my little bunny hops. And he's going to go hop, hop, and you drop a dot. Now the first group I had somebody say, well, if I dropped it down, I would get the same thing. Why don't I just drop it down? It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it will happen to line up, but what if I gave you something like this? Are you going to know where to put the decimal if you're trying to line stuff up and drop it down? No. How many decimal place value spots is in this problem on the top and the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 digits in decimal land. So how many hops is my little bunny going to go at the very, very end? 4 hops. Can y'all do 7 times 1 for me? And then I'm going to hop 1, 2, 3, 4 and put my dot there. So after you do your 4 little hops, you're just going to fill zeros in the empty spots, and then you have your numbers. We do not go out to the 10,000th place in 5th grade, but do you see what I'm doing? I'm going to show you one more, and then we're just going to practice. Let's do 8 hundredths times 8. Pretty simple. 8 times 8 is? How many bunny hops am I going to make?
3.
No. 1, 2. I've got 2 digits in decimal land. So my bunny is going to jump 2 times when I get to the end. 8 times 8, 64. Easy peasy. And then I just go hop, hop, drop a dot, put a 0 in front. Give me a thumbs up if this is making sense to you. Now, I'm going to show you real quick what this mess will look like if you don't listen to me and you try to line up your decimal. I'm going to do the same problem here. I'm going to have a whole mess of zeros, a placeholder 0, another whole bunch of zeros, 2 placeholder zeros, and then a 64. And since I'm doing all those zeros, why not throw a few more on? Then I'm going to add up all my zeros. Does this look fun?
No.
Could I get to the same answer?
Yeah.
Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 places to hop at the end there. I'm still going to get 64 hundredths, but would you rather do it the first way or the second way? Yeah, don't make that mess of zeros for yourself if you don't have to. If you line up the dot, you're going to have a whole bunch of zeros to have to deal with and try to keep in order. And the kids that usually try to do this end up making mistakes in their place value, and they make a big mess of it.